Vinny Costa, editor, Street Muscle Magazine. I'm here with Scott Parker, Vice President, Power Automedia, and we're taking a look at one of our project cars for Street Muscle, his personal vehicle, 68 GTO, nicknamed Project Payback. Back in October, I think, we ran a article, check it out, streetmusclemag.com. A whole new chassis, new power plant. I know the Pontiac guys are probably gonna give you all kinds of expletive because you're gonna drop something special in here.
Yeah, so I purchased it last year. Stumbled upon this guy on Craigslist. He had a yard full of Pontiacs. The guy was a Pontiac fanatic. He was selling this, it was running. Of course, things needed some body work, which we were at Best of Show doing that.
So surprised with how clean this car is. I mean, I had seen, when we did the editorial with MPD and we put the, panels on it and the patches and stuff. Sure, there was a couple spots, but then when I saw it in person, there's not a speck of rust around the drip rails, all the normal spots. So I was really impressed by that.
As far as I could tell, it's been in California or Arizona its whole life. It had actually been in a wrecking yard in Arizona for a little while.
Okay.
So that's kind of where the name came from, or Project Payback.
Right on.
You figure we're kind of raising this thing from the dead.
This is not going to be a drag car. What's the goal behind this thing? What are you going to try to do with it?
Pro touring is my thing. I love drag racing, don't get me wrong, but I love road racing, love autocross. I've been following the pro touring scene forever, so I'm excited to be a larger part of it and have a car that I can actually take to, NMCA autocross events. I can take it to Ultimate Streetcar Shootout, things like that.
That'll be really cool. Mm-hmm. I know a second ago you mentioned the amount of work that goes into these builds, but what we're going to talk about today, it's almost like a lot of the work is kind of I don't want to say done, but the bones are there, which is exciting to see because you see the body and you see, oh man, we got a long road ahead of us, but then you see the chassis and the drivetrain sitting in the chassis with a complete suspension and brakes.
I got hooked up with Schwartz for the chassis, and that's going to be huge, huge. The car had been hit. We think it's pretty straight, but you don't really want to take a risk on it. And I don't know if you've ever seen that, a body separated from the chassis. You put your foot on that chassis, the whole thing shakes.
Yeah. What made you reach out to Schwartz specifically?
They had all the features that I was looking for. I mean, I really wanted the modern handling and steering feel. That was really important to me to have a rack and pinion. The other thing that I really liked is the triangulated four-link in the back. It's a pretty simple setup by comparison, but it's very effective. It's something I have a lot of experience with, and I really like it. And I was really surprised when I got the chassis. I had no idea, but they use these really cool splined anti-roll bars, front and rear.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you can, at any point, you can pull the little spline. It's almost like an axle, and it slides out of the sleeve, so you can, increase or decrease the stiffness front and rear.
What do you have bolted up back there?
It's a Moser rear end, but
Nice.
it's a full floater. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the floater rear axles, but it was really essential for me to have a floater rear end. A little different in the drag race world. Really high-end drag cars have floaters. In the pro touring world, you have a floater to resist knockback with the brake pads. So the worst thing that can happen on a road course, obviously, is you put the pedal and the pedal goes to the floor and nothing happens.
Gotcha.
And that can happen with pad knockback.
I know that on yours, it's set up for more, like you said, like a road race, autocross type scenario. So it's got the big brakes. I know yours has Baers on it, 6 pistons, floaters, things set up to do some serious damage on the autocross, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really excited. I have, I've seen Schwartz and Jeff, and I've seen some of their cars run for years. Their Tempest is really cool. I love that car. But I had never seen one of their chassis up close. Seen a lot of the cars that they built and raced, but I really liked what I saw. And then when I got it, I was even more impressed.
Yeah, that thing's really impressive, especially when it rolls out of the trailer on those wooden wheels, ready to go. It was pretty cool. But man, they really send it to you with no guesswork involved. I mean, you call them up and you send them the specs that you're looking to create, and they box it up and ship it to you. That was really exciting when they dropped it off.
Oh, absolutely. No assembly required. I mean, that's one of the things that people are always scared of. You get your frame and you never know where the control arm's going to fit in the brackets, and none of that. You just wheel it off and put your body down on it, you're ready to go.
You're going to have to do a little bit of cutting, I think you mentioned to me, because of the transmission that you chose to use. But if you were to use a factory trans, I guess, for that, for the GTO, you wouldn't have to. What's going to be under the hood of that thing? I didn't mention it yet. But.
Ooh. So yeah, this is where the Pontiac guys are going to get really upset. But we've got an LT4 that Lingenfelter-tuned. It makes 720 horsepower. We might see if we can eke a little more power out of it, but it makes 720 now, which is going to be plenty for this car and what I'm doing with it. But it's just awesome. I mean, the amount of torque that thing has almost off idle, it's going to be perfect for this car.
That's awesome. Did you work with the guys at Schwartz at all when you told them what power plant you were going to be running as far as setting up the geometry or anything like that, or did they have something ready-made? In
terms of like the motor mounts, they're prepared. They've done a bunch of these Gen 5 swaps already, so they knew exactly what I needed. I even called them before. We'd originally thought we had a dry sump engine. We got to put the engine in. We could pull the engine out of the crate, and it's like, lo and behold, it's got a wet sump tank on it. And I'm like, I called Dale. Dale was like, oh yeah, you need Holly part number 320-20 or whatever it was. And so he knew exactly what was coming. The engine mounts are actually adjustable, so you can move front and rear. And the same thing with the cross member. There's actually some adjustability to that too.
The mounts are tubular as well. That's really cool. High quality stuff.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of cross bracing too. It's not just a perimeter, a flimsy perimeter. There's lots of cross bracing.
So Scott, I mean, that takes care of everything underneath the car. What plans do you have for finishing this thing up on the inside and everything else?
We're probably going to try to drop a few pounds. I'd really like to do like a composite hood and a deck lid.
Yeah, are you set on a color yet? I know you gave us 3 options.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much you want to give away.
I'm going to go the light blue route.
Nice.
I really love that. A lot of people got a lot of positive response on that one too.
Very cool.
And I've never had a blue car at all. I've never painted a car blue, and I like that kind of bluish silver. So I think that's going to work nice.
What are some expectations you have taking this thing out onto the course? I assume that you're going to, race it. So
I'm going to beat the snot out of it.
That's exactly.
I'm going to burn all 4 tires off this thing, no doubt.
Beautiful.
So my expectations are we're just going to continue to refine it. We'll see. I'm going to drive this thing a ton on the street. So I fully intend to just keep tuning it until it's dialed in. The
other day you mentioned to me about doing a cage in the car. You want to be safe and everything like that, but you still wanted to be able to utilize your back seat. Is it safe to say that you're going to be doing some family hauling in this thing?
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. I have to figure out how to put a car seat in the back. I might need some anchors or something, but yeah, that's definitely my intention. My daughter has already worked on it. She's done some of the interior work. So
that's awesome, man. So it's a family affair. I like it. I think Recaro makes a baby seat, so you might reach out to them.
Perfect.
Very cool, man. So there you guys have it. I can't wait to see this thing on the track. You can follow along on streetmusclemag.com. Follow us on Facebook, and keep an eye out for Project Payback.